Good day. My name is Stephen Davids. I am a professional journalist and CEO of an emerging training company called Paperless Center of Learning. In today's video, we will look at the administration and forms design in Google for the small to medium business. We will first discuss the usual approach and the problem attached to it. Then we will address the correct approach, which is an ecosystem approach. And then lastly, we will conclude with practical steps how to link and use the various parts of the Google system. What usually happens is that people immediately jump into the design of the forms or the use of the documents or the design of the website. And they ignore the admin console simply because the admin console is too overwhelming. It has too many elements that is confusing for you and which you do not understand, or simply you do not have time. However, ignoring the admin console is a big mistake because you miss from the many potential and the huge potential that Google has to offer. The correct way for you as a designer of forms or as the administrator in a small and even any bigger business that uses Google is to use an ecosystems approach. In fact, systems approach, but Google refer to themselves often as an ecosystem. If you use the various elements of Google, for example, Gmail, or the websites and or the forms in isolation as mere silos that has nothing to do with each other, you will not optimally use the full potential that the whole system has to offer. The elements of Google together forms a system where the one impacts on the other, similar to the body that is a system where the functions of the heart affects that of the liver, for example, affects that of the kidneys, and the lungs, and everything has an impact on each other. In fact, the people of Google refers to themselves and the system as an ecosystem, similar to where the sun affects the rain, affects the snow, affects the animals and the food. This means that one has to design the elements of Google, such as the forms or the docs, must design it holistically against the backdrop of the system. For example, forms and docs, you cannot just look at what is in front of you. You must look what's available, the functionalities that you can get from the add-ons. And there are many add-ons with great functionalities. Furthermore, you must also look at the interrelationship between the systems. For example, if you design a form, can you put it on the site? And also, how can you utilize Gmail, maybe to notify people in case you have a form that they submit? And this then will lead you to design a multi-purpose forms, a form that is much more able to do what was done on paper format. If and when you have a form that is exactly the same as a paper format, I suggest you go back because you did not do your homework and you do not utilize all the functionalities that is available in Google. For example, you can have one, and in order to minimize, for example, paperwork in quotes. You can have one form that I have maybe for the quality management, for the operational health and safety, maybe simply reporting. A form can have a lot of attributes and many purposes if you design it correctly, utilizing all the functionalities that the system provides, namely start with the add-ons and then also look at how the forms, for example, Gmail and sites, how these things are interrelated. Let us now discuss a few examples of this interrelationship. You can establish users and or groups where you automatically give certain permission to people who are identifiable through the Gmail. For example, you say some people can get access to the website or to certain web pages. Second example is that on form submissions, when people then submit their form, it automatically register in the spreadsheet, and on the spreadsheet you had an add-on that automatically generates an email. This email must have an appropriate subject heading so that it can be linked and interlinked with the labels and also with the filters of the Gmail, and as a result it can then automatically be sorted into filters. A third example is to use a form with a spreadsheet for strategic planning and reporting, and then together with calendar use it for the daily activities of the individual. You can also use Google Vault, which is a separate facility that you apply for, and this is to use and store information so that you do not need separate facilities, and it is extremely valuable, especially for security in a company. The fifth example is to use the reports in the admin console, from where you can get and generate extensive reports on what happened on the website. The last example is the search facility in Google Drive, where you can make very good and extensive searches of the elements within Google Drive that was there, and you can do it very well. And in this way, many elements are interconnected in the Google system. The question now is, how do you link the various parts of Google as the administrator or the person in charge of IT of your small business? We already discussed how to combine the elements and bring them together when you design forms. However, as administrator, your functions are much more than just the design of forms. You are responsible for the whole system. So how do you link the whole system? When you are confronted with Google, you are overwhelmed by all these many elements, and you do not know where to start, neither do you know how they are interconnected. The good news is that everything is already linked under your domain, and that is a very good place to start. The question is, knowing they are interlinked does not bring you very far. You must start somewhere, and this is now what we will deal with further. Before you do anything else, Create a few Gmail accounts of fictional people that you will use for testing purposes. The amount, of course, depends on your situation, but you will need these test accounts because testing is a thing that you will have to do throughout the design process and to make sure that what you intend is indeed happening, because we are all fallible human beings that sometimes make silly mistakes, and things are not always what they appear to be, even on if you follow the instructions of Google. Start with your admin console and get acquainted with some of the elements on the admin console. There are many videos available on the various elements of the admin console. In this video, I only look to process. Start with the admin console. Thereafter, go to your users. In your users, you will have to, on the sidebar, you will see there that you can replicate the organizational structure as well as put permissions for the various levels, staff or whatever your organizational structure is. As I say, there are many videos available on the detail thereof. Alternatively, and maybe as a next step, you can then go and add some groups. The groups, as far as I'm concerned, can mirror the organizational structure, especially if you do not maybe want to use the users specifically. In any case, you will need the groups to give permission on your website and other documents. Thereafter, go to the sites, and if you already have your website, good. If you do not have a website, design one, because it is good to have your documents linked to the website. Otherwise, you send people links to them and the links just disappear. On a website, if your documents are linked to a website, it becomes at a familiar place, it is a fixed place, and it is always readily available. Then onto your website, you add an intranet page, and you limit the intranet page to people of the organization that you want to. Usually the website is open to the public. Okay, you add a specific page on the website for the intranet, and then you can build your intranet further. Because you set limits on people who can access the intranet is not visible to the broader public. Then you can maybe start building the intranet further with sub-pages, maybe for finances, for admin, for lecturing staff. On your intranet page, you build your various sub-pages that you want to have. You also then give your sub-pages the various permissions that you want them to have. For example, here on this learners site, you will see who has permissions. Sorry, apologize for that. You will see that some people have certain permissions, and here you set your permissions, specific people and potential learners. For example, this is the group where you can see here, this is the email address of the group that you established before. Okay, having said then the permissions for the various pages and groups, you then type in whatever you want to type in there. text that is relevant and that refers to the necessary document in the Google. Create a text name for whatever you want to do, and then you link it with the hyperlink to the documents in the Google Drive. And if the person then click on this document, they will, on this link, they will come out at the document. And there you can see, if I click as a learner, the document will load, as you can see there. And after the intranet, you go back then to the drive, and then in Google Drive you make your forms, your documents, etc. You make them public because they will get their permissions from the sub pages in the intranet, and then have your multi-purpose and very excellent forms, you then it will then be a process, consistent process where you update your forms and link it to the intranet. This will be a consistent process and a continuous process, and everything happens, of course, against the backdrop of your other elements, the calendar, the Gmail, etc. Always remember that testing is a continuous process. You always test, because we all are fallible. You make mistakes. Things doesn't work out. You expect in a certain way things are being explained in Google. When you come there, you get a nasty surprise. But such is life, and you just make your changes. But testing throughout the process is very important. Here then is a recap and a summary of the process that you can print out and use. Thank you very much for watching this video. We love constructive feedback and comments. Please like and share this video. Thank you very much.